Alright, I've got a serious problem. My name is Brandon, and I'm a professional yo-yo player and full-time content creator. And after spending the majority of 2023 living out of a suitcase and traveling the world to compete at various yo-yo contests, all the while surviving off minimal sleep, minimal exercise, and almost no regard as to what I put into my body, I got fat! So for 2024, something's gotta change, so I have an idea. I grew up as a chubby kid, and like most chubby kids, I was bullied for being chubby. So for as long as I can remember, I've always wanted to have six-pack abs. Pop culture has heralded abs as the pinnacle of a human physique. So today, I'm gonna try to attain a six-pack in 90 days. Now, had I been capable of attaining a six-pack, I would have done it myself already. I've completed 4 marathons and 2 Ironman triathlons, and even at my absolute fittest, I've never been lean enough to have abs. And so when it came down to calling someone to help me get abs, there was only one person on my mind. This is Josh Sim. He's a viral fitness coach who's been blowing up all over the internet. He's most famous for his grueling transformation from a nationally ranked powerlifter to a shredded bodybuilder. In just over 9 months, he transitioned from this to this, taking the bodybuilding and powerlifting world by storm. And in the process, he's helped many of his other clients achieve body transformations. So for the first week, Josh flew over to my apartment in Sydney to overhaul my diet and lifestyle.
Alright bro, let's assess the damage. Mate, I don't remember this. What happened?
You reckon we can fix this?
Oh, it's doable man, but it's gonna take a bit of work.
So, how did I get here? Well, a typical day in my life went like this. Wake up with a coffee with condensed milk, yo-yo for a bit, go downstairs, get a bacon and egg roll, and a latte with 2 sugars. For dinner, I would then go get 3 slices of Meat Lover's Pizza from my local kebab shop, or a halal snack pack, and I'd wash it all down with a full sugar Mother energy drink. Overall, my diet was bad, but in my defense, I was still within the caloric range of the average adult male. I'd assumed, as a person who still went to the gym or for a casual run, my diet wasn't so bad that it'd be an issue. Alright, we're at like 85 kilos. This is the heaviest I've ever been in my entire life. What do you think, bro? You think we can get abs in 90 days?
It'll be pretty tough bro, but I think it's doable.
Okay. This is a bad idea. According to Josh, here's how to actually get abs. Step 1 was the caloric deficit. So to start me off, Josh cut my caloric intake from 2,700 all the way down to 2,000. We're fixing everything. Everything's gonna be fixed. And to ensure I actually ate the correct amount, Josh mandated that I had to track every single thing that I ate every single day. 450 grams of potatoes. You thinking that's enough? All right.
450 is G.
But a caloric deficit in and of itself is not sufficient in getting abs, which brings us to the next step, protein. Losing muscle while in a caloric deficit is what leads to that dreaded skinny fat look. That's something that I'd experienced while I was training for my first Ironman triathlon. I got skinnier, but like if you lifted up my shirt, I was pudgy. It was because I was just consuming a crap ton of carbs and almost no protein. So for a guy my weight, I would have to consume roughly around 180 grams of protein while sticking within my 2,000 calories. That's literally just the diet. The third pillar was basically I had to go and hit the gym. Josh assured me that a strength program that prioritized me getting stronger on key lifts, things like the bench press, things like the deadlift, things like the squat, would chisel my aesthetic and preserve my muscle mass and potentially even build it. But even after all of that, apparently, when your body senses it's in like a sustained caloric deficit, it'll subconsciously kind of slow everything down. So on top of all of that, I also had to walk 10,000 steps a day, every day. Now, as an aside, there were a few things missing from this routine that I thought were important. Josh didn't prescribe any of those like 20-minute ab workouts. His theory was that if I made strength gains on the squat, the deadlift, the bench press, abs definition would kind of take care of itself. The second thing he didn't prescribe was any like long runs or anything. This was kind of disappointing. I'm a pretty experienced runner, and like, isn't cardio what burns fat? Like, shouldn't we be adding more of that? Theoretically, yes, but according to Josh, what happens in practice is running kind of increases your appetite. So while it does burn a lot, it makes you hungrier in relation to that. So that was the theory. But like, life has a funny way of throwing you off your grind. Going on 7 a.m. now, running on about 2 hours of sleep. We're now headed to the airport, headed to New York. Today marks the first day of me traveling overseas and going through that entire process again. So this is a real test as to whether I can actually hold the exercise, hold the calories with extended world travel. Now, I was still very hell-bent on making steady progress on getting abs. I took measures into my own hands. I booked an apartment with a kitchen. We've got our own little kitchen. Haha. That's literally ground beef and broccoli. That's literally as healthy as it gets. I went grocery shopping. I even got a gym membership for 30 days. I actually made pretty steady progress. I dropped down to about 77 kilos, but my willpower and my resolve were quickly disintegrating. As much as I hate to admit it, I'm not a professional bodybuilder. I'm a yo-yoer and I'm a YouTuber. And basically time spent chasing abs is time spent just not working. I mean, it felt pretty good, but I had to change out, so that basically eliminates any chance that we're winning. In the middle of 2024, work and abs would start to fight one another. So for 2024, I had this massive travel schedule. I basically wanted to compete in every single US regional yo-yo contest. So by the back half of 2024, I'd given up entirely. I'd failed. Okay. It tasted great, but I feel a little sick now. I'm definitely getting fatter up being in the US. There's something corrosive about setting a goal and repeatedly failing to achieve it. Every time you fail, you lose more and more confidence in your ability. Not only that, you lose the respect of the people who believe in you and also support you. You can only fail so many times until you get this idea inside your mind that it's just not possible for someone like me. Josh is probably gonna kill me, but I don't care. I distinctly remember I was with my cousin. What is it? The 8th of January?
8th of January, 2025.
So this is how we look. This is how we look. Yep. I am in the worst shape of my entire life. We literally stepped on the scale. Oh.
84 kilos.
So we're basically at the same spot.
84 kilos.
So I fell off the wagon again. I don't even have an excuse. I was exactly back where I started. I was 84 kilos. I mean, from here, there was nowhere to go but up, right? So at this point, I realized I needed a whole new lifestyle and a whole new environment. First thing I did for Q1 of 2025, no flights. I stayed in Sydney for the first time in 2 years. I had nothing booked. The second thing I did was I realized that even though Josh had recommended cooking, I hate doing it. So what I did was I subscribed to this meal plan called My Muscle Chef. This is not a plug. They make these really high protein meals with relatively low calories. And slowly as the weight started to come off, Josh started seeing my progress and started taking me seriously again. And it was at this point, he took the plan into hyperdrive. The workouts would be shorter, but I would be training 6 days a week. On top of that, he would be adding abs exercises finally. Things like weighted cable crunches, hanging leg raises. He also added 15 minutes of incline walk after all of my workouts. But by far the most diabolical thing he did was he began progressively cutting my calories. It started at 1,800, then 1,700, then to a floor of 1,500. 170 calories, 20 grams of protein. This is all I look forward to. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, it sucked. There would be moments where I'm just roaming the streets, walking around in circles just to hit those 10,000 steps where I'm like, why am I doing this? And I remember just fantasizing about all of the food that I wanted to eat or what I would do after this, just kind of wishing for this whole process to end. And it was at this point that Josh kind of gave me a bit of wisdom from his own journey. Josh went through something very similar, in fact, way worse. He cut down from being this huge power lifter to this shredded bodybuilder. He looks back on that cut with a lot of fond memories. And like deep in this process, it felt very similar to the time where I had just quit my job. I decided to quit my job and I set myself a challenge where I'm like, I'm gonna post on YouTube every single day for 30 days. And in the process, when you're in the moment and you're sleep deprived and you don't wanna do it anymore, once you kind of go through that and you kind of figure it out, and then the YouTube channel like gets off the ground, maintaining it isn't as difficult as most people think. And I think there's like a parallel to that with the body. Most people don't go through that first initial grind, which brings us to today. Okay, you guys are all caught back up. This present day. I'm heading to Melbourne now. I'm visiting Josh today. Scale says I'm 73.6 kilos, which is pretty light. Heading in the right direction. It had been roughly 120 days since I'd restarted this project after failing completely in 2024. Now all that was left to do was to meet up with Josh and assess my progress.
Alright, long time no see, bro. How's it been?
True to Josh's word, strict adherence to the plan had paid significant dividends. I was now lighter and stronger than I'd ever been in my entire life. Despite being deep in my cut, surviving off only 1,500 calories, I was still able to surpass every strength benchmark I'd ever set, setting a personal lifetime record for the squat, deadlift, and yes, bench press. We just finished working out. It's been 6 weeks since I last came down here. Lost change since then. My calories are now up to 3,000. So this is the current physique.
If you followed it correctly, you should be leaner than he was 6 weeks ago. But let's have a look.
The goal was never to just get abs, but rather to maintain them. And despite now eating normally, I'd still found myself in the best shape I'd ever been in my entire life. My journey is just one of many Josh has guided to getting their dream physique. If you want to work with Josh, he offers personalized online coaching to get you your dream physique in the most intelligent way possible. Visit simcoaching.net for more information. This was my transformation journey. Are you ready for yours?
So that was it, a 90-day transformation, 2 years in the making. Look at that, we finally got it.
Yes.
Alright, thanks so much, bro.
Okay,
Cheers, fucking, thank you, bro.
crazy, bro.
That's insane.